Aí, como nada tá aberto no long weekend, e as voltas só temos um carro, aí tem que ficar fazendo correria, vamos lá levar a Cíntia para trabalhar. Aí. Português? Sim. Tudo bem? Seja bem-vindo.
Obrigado.
Meu nome é
Vitor.
Vitor, seja bem-vindo. Gratidão por estar aí. Tudo bem, Vitor?
Tudo bem.
Esse tem dois, tem dois Vitors, mas sejam bem-vindos os dois.
Está tudo pronto aqui?
Está tudo pronto aí já, obrigado. Só tem que ver lá no YouTube se tem alguém acompanhando lá, que eu acho que eu não abri a janela do YouTube. Ok. Tudo bom? Você me faz um favor? Leva isso daqui para lá.
Tudo bom?
All right, guys, we'll start with our harmonization text. It comes from the book Living Spring, text number 73. If someone can just close the door because it's a little bit noisy here. The text is called Fraternal Encouragement. And according to his riches in glory, my God will meet all your needs through Christ Jesus. Paul, letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 19. Do not think you are alone in purifying struggle, for the Lord will meet all your needs. Look up to the Almighty, but from time to time, look behind you. If you are in a position to serve, then do so and then press on. Remember your brothers and sisters who live in diligence without any resources. Think about the mothers and fathers who must listen to their children crying with no meaning of drying their tears. Observe the sick whose circumstances have taken them from their homes. Stop for a moment and give a friendly look to the homeless child. Contemplate the anguish of those who have mentally disbalanced or unbalanced, confused in the eclipse of reason. Think of the physicality disabled, shackled to dolorous immobility. Think about the maternal hearts tormented by the disharmony and lack of bread in their homes. From time to time, stop your hurry pace in order to help the blind who walk in darkness. Then you might find that your own suffering vanishes before your very eyes. If you have arms to help and a mind capable of reflecting on the good of our fellow beings, then you are a truly better than a king who may possess a world of gold but is afraid to help another person. When you manage to overcome your afflictions in order to create joy for others, then other people's happiness will seek you out whether or not or whatever you may be to bring you happiness of your own. May infirmity or sadness never impede your journey. It is better for death to take us while we are hard at work than for us to wait for, for it in an easy chair. My brothers and sisters, light is a new flame of encouragement in your souls, and press on by an angel of fraternity to those who follow you, dominated by affliction, ignorance, and suffering. When you plant the joy of living in the hearts around you, then very soon the flowers and fruits of your sowing will enrich your pathway. Let us pray. I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. Think about the fraternity that our brother Emmanuel has invited us to develop among ourselves, among our families, among the people who surround us. Letting it overflow through vibrations of love to all the brothers and sisters in most need, most suffering. Dear Father, today, in this special day, we invite you, come to us in this meeting. Let us understand the true meaning of fraternity. Let us connect the message of Jesus to our inner kingdom, so the external kingdom be nothing more than a reflection what is fulfilled our heart. May our meeting today enlighten all those who couldn't come, all those suffering in this very town, all those who are seeking for the consciousness that the light of Spiritism brings to all of us. Be with us, Father, today and always. So be it. Very well. Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome to attend our meeting. And before we start, I would like to remind you, I know that many of you have already subscribed, but we keep encouraging you to go in CanadianSpiritistCouncil.com and subscribe. It's a free event. It's going to be in the library at Central Library of Calgary, July 20th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will be receiving the president of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation, FAB, Jorge Godin, and people speaking from all Canada. So join us. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity to exercise fraternity. Well. Jesus' invitation to fraternity. Before we go on, this is all based in the Gospel of John, the Spirit's book, Gospel According to Spiritism, and the Living Source, the book that I just read, or for those who are Brazilian, Fonte Viva. What is fraternity? The name of the Spiritism. What is fraternity?
Love and help each other.
Help each other. Who else would like to collaborate?
And the word came from the radical brother, that's brotherhood, brothers.
What does it mean?
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood. Okay. Anybody else?
Fraternal love also.
Fraternal love. Okay, let's put in.
It's an opportunity to practice our virtues among our brothers and sisters.
Practice virtues among the brothers and sisters. Okay.
live and to share in a community, just like the in the Asian Christianism. To live and to share in the community, just like
to live and share within the community. Okay.
Is it like to treat others as I wish to be treated?
Golden rule. Well, we lack of space, so we will stop here. Thank you very much for your contributions. Okay. We'll try to help answering this question through this, and mainly based in what is Jesus' invitation to fraternity, right? So our objective today is recognize Jesus as our model and guide to develop the true fraternity. And for that, I would like to start important reflection. So our initial reflection comes with, you understand who is Jesus? Who is Jesus? What is this promised consoler that Jesus announced? What is Spiritism? What is a Spiritist center? And do you know what is Jesus' invitation to fraternity? Do you? All right, we'll find out. So, who is Jesus? A myth? A legend? Prophet? A martyr? Who is Jesus, or what is Jesus? I think I'm gonna grab some more. Oh, there's no water.
Eu busco.
Is there anything else than what I listed here, or those are, or one of these can describe it?
The spirit of light,
Spirit of light.
most evolved spirit once incarnated.
Once touched earth. It's a good point.
To me, is the son of all goodness.
Son of all goodness. It's a good point too. What is important to remind is what does it mean, Christ? Was it his last name, Christ? What is Christ?
perfect spirit.
It brings the vision of enlightened spirit. And all of us have our inner Christ. Because we are all potential Christs. We will get there. Whether or not we like it, we will get there. We can't avoid that. We can delay. It's different to avoid. We can delay, and sometimes we delay quite a lot. And sometimes it's more than a lot. But each one of us have also one thing called free will. Right? Sometimes I want to do something quicker. Sometimes I want to procrastinate a little bit. But in the Spirit's book brings a very important clue. And I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with this question, but this will create the business case to justify all what we will talk today. Because if we don't understand Jesus or what he represents to us, it's going to be tough to continue with this presentation. So to build the business case here, why we're talking about Jesus' invitation to fraternity, in the question 625 of the Spirit's book, Kardec asks the Spirits, what is the perfect standard that God has offered to mankind as a guide and model? Well, what is a guide again?
Tells you some direction.
Knows the roadmap, right? No, or better say, knows the roadmap, and we follow, right? We want to hire a guide through a trail here to do a hiking. You better not walk in front of him or her. We expect that he or her will show the righteous path, the best path to get to the destination. And what about model? What a model is? It's not Gisele Bündchen in this case that we're talking about.
Someone that gives you the example.
Someone that give or sets.
Sets.
That's a very important point, because if he is the most perfect standard, it sets. This is the most perfect model. So if I want to make a nice cake, I will buy a model, a forma, that will give most what I want, right? Square, triangle, a heart shape, whatever. But I will try. And then my cakes will come out of the oven, always on the same model. Well, and what is this about us or Jesus? Well, as many of you know, the answer is one of the shortest answers of the Spirit's book. Look at Jesus. It doesn't say is Jesus, but look at Jesus. Look at his guidance. Look how he modeled his life. And then you will probably find the perfect standard. So this is a very important point, because this is in the Spirit's book. Well, Erick, so then whatever is in the Spirit's book, we should follow blindly? No, it's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the book said that. And Kardec builds a beautiful statement to prove that this makes sense, because he says this. In the comments of the question, he says this. Sorry. Jesus, sorry. It's hard sometimes, right? Or Jesus is the highest standard of moral perfection. Well, highest standard of moral perfection. This is a very important point. Based on what? To which humankind may aspire on earth. So you will set a morality that nobody would have ever reached or has ever reached on earth, or we are in or there is a better standard, let's say. So the word highest standard is very important. God offers him as the most perfect model So to model ourselves, so God giving us him as a model to bake your cake based in this model, because this is the most perfect one. And the doctrine he taught is the purest expression of God's law. And this is probably one of the most important statements for us today in these comments of Kardec. Because is fraternity a law? No? No?
I think if you follow the law, you have to act fraternal. So it's inside the law.
What is, based on what Marcelo said, brotherhood? Brothers and sisters live among what? Society, a community. When there is a law, is there a law that rules, a divine law that rules our interactions?
Law of society.
Law of society. So yes, it's a law of fraternity, because the virtue that connects us purely to live as brothers and sisters is fraternity, right? So we can put law of society / fraternity, because it means the same thing, right? Because he was animated by the divine spirit and was the purest being that has ever walked the earth, as it was said today. So this is a very strong and important statements to build, again, the case that we are trying to reach today. In the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 15 to 18, Jesus says, "If you love me, keep my commandments, and I will pray the Father, and he will give you another consoler, that he may remain with you forever, the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you. I will never leave you orphans. I will come to you." This is very important. What is Jesus saying when he says, "Keep my commandments"? Because usually commandments can bring that interpretation that it's a forced thing, right? I don't have option. I have to do this. Otherwise, I will be punished or whatever. If it's in the army, for example, if you don't follow the commandments, most likely you have trouble. But what is, or let me make another comment here. Do you know which language Jesus spoke during that time? Hebrew, Aramaic, and another common language was Greek. Right, Greek. During that, I don't know if Jesus spoke, but most of the letters or the passages of the gospel are written in Greek, ancient Greek. So the letters of Paul, for example, he was well educated in Greek, and he wrote in Greek a lot of stuff. And Those languages, just for us to have an idea, our current language, English, Portuguese, French, and others, they normally have around 200,000 words, okay? 200,000 words. Those languages, they were between 5 and 10. Is there a difference there? 5 and 10,000 words. For sure. Try to explain what is a remote control 100 years ago. Good luck. Some new word. Control, remote. Control maybe not, but remote didn't exist. So we were building as we evolved as a society. Our language got better to express our feelings and etc. So during that time, a lot of words had meanings that today we have way more words to explain, or synonyms better to explain. Why I'm saying this? Because the people who study well the ancient language, they say that commandments had a connotation way more to teachings, exercisement of the teachings. So do this and try to see if it will work. And then this invitation of Jesus to exercise this teaching was based in 3 or 4 very important points. That this consoler that he's saying here will remain with us. Well, is there any human being that will live forever? So that's a tough thing to say, right? Because it will remain with us. Then he says, the Spirit of truth. World cannot see or receive, but we can. So in the Gospel according to Spiritism, there is a full chapter called The Consoling Christ. And it's based exactly in this passage, because from what it says in that chapter, Spiritism is this consoler that Jesus has promised that would come to us. And it all makes sense. And I really invite you guys to go and read this chapter. It's beautiful. It's probably one of the most beautiful chapters of this wonderful book. Really wonderful book. Have probably solutions for most of our dilemmas based in Jesus' gospel. With that said, understanding this, who is this Spirit of Truth then? Spiritism has come at the stated time to fulfill Christ's promise. The Spirit of Truth presides over its establishment. I have come as I once came amongst the wayward children of Israel, to bring the truth and dissipate the darkness. Listen to me. Who said that? Who said that? Está escrito ali, ó. Spirit of Truth.
Jesus.
Spirit of Truth said that. It's in this text in the chapter 6 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. There is a message there where the Spirit of Truth says this. Well, but hold on. If you read well, there's like, who used to say this type of thing? Jesus. We won't spend too much time building the case that Jesus is the Spirit of truth, which is in the Gospel according to Spiritism. But the same text that I'm going to read now is in both the Gospel according to Spiritism and the Medium's book. And listen well, listen carefully. Spiritism, as my word of old, must remind disbelievers that above them reigns the immutable truth, the good God, the great God, who makes the plant germinate and rises the tides. I have revealed the divine doctrine, and like a reaper, I have gathered into sheaves the good spread among humankind, and have said, come unto me, all you who suffer. Wow. Who said this before was Jesus. But the most interesting thing, the difference between these two books here, one, the Gospel according to Spiritism is signed by Spirit of Truth. What about the Medium's book? Just reminding, here is actually the chronological release of the books. Spirit's book, Medium's book, Gospel according to Spiritism, Hell and Genesis. So, the Medium's book came first. To be precise, I think 3 or 4 years before the Gospel according to Spiritism. And it wasn't it wasn't the Spirit of Truth who signed that message. So in other words, the message came first. Kardec has put in both books, but they are not signed by the same person, or the Spirit of Truth. Actually, nobody signs the message in the Medium's book. In the Medium's book, there is a note from Kardec, specifying that, look, there is a lot of message that they are not truth, that has been signed in the name of this person, and we would like you to analyze the full message and see the singularity of this message, all the enlightenment each word brings, and take your decision. Because the medium who received this message signed Jesus of Nazareth. So in the medium's book, it says this message was signed by Jesus, but Kardec I won't say wash his hands, but basically use your discernment and check. But then a few years later, he brings the same text and boom, Gospel according to Spiritism signed the Spirit of Truth. So he is basically signing, this is a really good text and should be shared with all humankind. So that, as I mentioned, I didn't want to put too much time on this, but that also explains that, yes, Jesus and the Spirit of Truth are the same Spirit. Keep on going. What is then a Spiritist society? The Spirit Society's objective is to promote the study, the diffusion, and practice of the Spiritist doctrine and the gospel of Jesus. well, shouldn't be anything else, right? Like there are a lot of spirits in society that we know that their focus is way more than other than studying and promoting and diffusing the practice of this. They start getting another information, but this is a very important point. And sorry, I don't have the reference here, but this is based in uh, the guidelines of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation to the Spiritist movement in Brazil. So, with that said, how can we accomplish this then? Comes the question. How can we accomplish to promote the study, the diffusion, and the practice of the Spiritist doctrine and the gospel of Jesus? And there is no wrong answers. You can try. What we work a lot here. People who are coming through that door, they are seeking for what? For rest? Are they seeking for guidance? Are they seeking for anything else? Maybe. What usually people who cross the door there are seeking?
I think they're seeking everything you just said, plus understand our purposes in life, to understand their faith, and have some guidance in terms of.
And what if the person comes, I have no faith?
Then the Spiritist Center it's a way to understand how we can practice the virtue of
Exercise,
faith.
right? Develop it, yes. Yes, it's basically this. Our goal here is to welcome everyone or anyone that seeks clarification, guidance, consolation for their spiritual, moral, and material issues, right? We all have issues. We all have issues. Is there anybody that you know that doesn't have any problem? Please present me, because I really want to understand, because the world we live, even though sometimes looks like I have a very easy life, a very plain, very joyful, it's just turn on the TV or access any news website to see that our world is a big mess. A lot of wars, a lot of people hating each other, a lot of people killing each other, a lot of people killing themselves. So we can't live in a full happiness in a world like this. Well, and this is one of the things, because we found something that fulfills our hearts and helps us to have more clarity, guide us where to go, find consolation when we have struggles. And if we found this, who better to share it? Because I found it. Will someone who never found it share it? Doesn't make sense. But fulfills my heart. So I love to be here talking about, for example, Jesus' invitation to fraternity. One should know and study the Spiritist doctrine. Yes, because here is a place that we promote study and knowledge of the Spiritist doctrine. And finally, one should work, collaborate, and serve in any area of action that the Spiritist Center can promote. So these points we may be able to accomplish a Spiritist Center or Spiritist house that will fulfill this objective. The Spiritist Center is a moral laboratory where it aims to promote the knowledge of divine laws and teach incarnated beings about the functioning of these laws, making them intelligible and applicable to our daily life, our daily conduct, which is the same. It is a place of study, fraternity, prayer, and work. And then, my friends, my brothers and sisters, how many of us have already complained? Oh, but the teaching is very nice, but it's so hard. Yeah, it's just theory. In theory is nice, but in practice, right? Okay, how many of us have already said that? Okay, don't put your hands up. We don't need to expose anybody here. I'm pretty sure that I have already said that in the past. Yes, because the intelligible, the intellectual piece, I won't say that's easy, but it's easier. Yes, because I can read the book, I can come here, and talk and talk, but can I feel it? To apply all this in our daily life, in our daily conduct, demands a lot of exercise. Sometimes a fight, what we call a good fight, it's not fight against ourselves, but a good fight against what we thought it was the best for me. For example, in the past, I thought that for me to reach perfect happiness, I would need to have a Ferrari. Unfortunately, Honda now won the champion, right? The champion, no, just today. But then if after think, well, a lot of people have Ferraris and they didn't reach perfect happiness. So in theory, it's beautiful. In practice, something is missing. And this is exactly what we do here. We try to find ways to understand, yes, study, but mainly apply this in our lives. Either being yesterday in that beautiful event that we were all together there, eating paçoquinha, having fun together with the kids, exposing them to a little bit more of our Brazilian culture, right? But it was also an environment that we could see and help. And, for example, talk about the kids again. There is a kid that is having trouble to deal with sharing and etc. What are you gonna do? Pick the kid and put in the tablet and so problem solved? Yeah, I can do that. Is it the invitation to do? No. The invitation for sure is to exercise. No, let's go share, let's go try again. And this is the same for us. We talk about the kids, how to educate them, but are we morally educated? Because one thing is having the knowledge. Educated is I have the knowledge and I apply it in my life. I use it in my daily life, right? It's such as an engineer. I have to build a building, but I hate calculus. I hate math, and I won't do anything of this. I will just scratch something, tell them to build. Well, if the building fall, congratulations, you go to jail. So we got one ticket way to jail. So this is the same thing for us, because sometimes in our way to expose our ego, we hurt other people. And we don't understand that, why I'm suffering later on, or suffering for something that I don't understand. But in the Gospel according to Spiritism, there is a wonderful text that I think is Erastus, who says, if you well investigate all your struggles, even in the past lives, you will find the reason of your suffering today. So, can we break the wheel and change the way we do things? Yes. And this is what mainly a Spiritist house does. Self-knowledge, self-improvement. And today specifically, we are talking about fraternity. And in fraternity, Jesus said in the Gospel of John again, chapter now 23, verses 34 and 35, he says, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Wow, but this is the same of the previous one. But as I have loved you, that you also love one another. By this, all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. This is a wonderful invitation. This is a so beautiful invitation, because we are trying to find ways to live together without the sparkles, without exposing our passions, of our ego passions, and be more fraternal. And then it comes from what Mr. Souza said before. What is fraternity then? Fraternity from the Greek, or sorry, the Latin. Frater, the prefix of the word, frater means brother. Init or dade is to practice it, execute, live it, right? So live as brothers and sisters, or if you rather, brotherhood. Not a brotherhood as we see the North American English mainly has created. Not that brotherhood of academical people who goes and party together and they call it fraternity, but the fraternity of the virtue. And if you have any doubt, go to the dictionary. There usually will have the true meaning and then North American meaning. But our meaning here is really live as brothers and sisters, because we chose Spiritism as our way of life, rather religion, conduct of a philosophical way to live. And we are Christians. Whether or not you like it, we are Christians, because I just showed you. The question 625 says that Jesus is the moral standard that we should be following. So if we want to live mainly in this environment, recognize that as Christians, because that's what Christian means, disciples of Jesus. We better have fraternal love, or love one another the best we can, with all our strength. And in the Gospel according to Spiritism, in the end of that wonderful message that we started reading earlier, there is a passage that most of us know. Oh, spirits. Okay. How is it? Love
Love each other.
Love one another.
Love one another.
The first teaching. And the second,
And know yourself.
no, that's Jesus. And the second is,
It's know yourself, isn't it?
no, instruct yourselves, which,
Oh,
again, all spirits, love one another. This is the first teaching. Educate yourselves. This is the second. All truths are found in Christianity. The errors that have become rooted within it are of human origin. And here, beyond the grave, which you believed was nothingness, voices cry out to you, brothers and sisters, nothing perishes. Jesus Christ is the victor over evil. Be victors over impiety. This is a very important passage of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Most of us know by heart this piece. I'm pretty sure that's easier to say in Portuguese for most of us as well. Try in Portuguese now, Carol.
Since the beginning or only the
No,
last?
just the first path. This first path, because we all know this, right? But I will build a statement later on the rest. But do you remember? Close your eyes. Stop reading. Stop translating.
Oh my gosh, don't put me on the spot.
Ó espíritas, amai-vos uns aos outros, eis o primeiro ensinamento.
Pois,
E
now doesn't come in Portuguese.
instruí-vos, eis o segundo. Exatamente. But most of us know this wonderful passage because it's a wonderful invitation to fraternity. Love one another. Here's the first teaching. Educate yourselves, right? Love yourself, so improve yourself, develop yourself. But what about the rest? All truths are found in Christianity. This is a huge statement. All truths are found in Christianity. This is, it's not saying some truths or most of the truths. It's saying all. And it's a very, very strong word to use here. But you say, wow, Erick, Christianity, there are so many errors. The Crusades, the Inquisition. Till today, we see the priests who abuse the kids or women or even men. There's so much errors there. Well, we always target this. And remember, 1860, way before all these scandals, or even the popes, because the first pope to admit errors on the Catholic Church, I think it was in the 30s or 40s. And then it came one after another, right? Because they have almost today, their agenda is, okay, whichever we will admit and say sorry to the public, because they created too many mistakes in the past. But the errors are from human origin. Yes, the Pope is a human being. The priest is a human being. Erick is a human being. All of us. We still rooted in all our mistakes from previous lives or even from these lives, this current life, are still not answering the call that was made 2,000 years ago. And his statement by the end, brothers and sisters. Look, Jesus putting himself as brother and sister of us. He's not putting himself above. They're all sons and daughters of the same Father. We should be believing that nothing ends. It's not here, it will end. And work hard to be victors over evil and our impiety. Well, we have 2 more minutes. Moça, do you mind to check if they will have some activity to show us? And I would love to hear from you guys. Today is the last day of the month, so the last day of the virtue fraternity, and that's why I wanted to make sure we would reforçar, how do we say reforçar? Reinforce, I think there is a very bad connotation.
It's a refresh.
Because for
Yeah,
refresh is awesome. To refresh the knowledge about this virtue and the most important invitation we ever had about it. Nothing? Awesome.
You do the final prayer there.
Okay. Awesome. So, would you like to share anything that this presentation helped you, or to reflect about, or if I said anything wrong, please correct me. I'm pretty sure that I'm not perfect, that I say a lot of mistakes sometimes.
But I think it's a lecture that is always a good refreshment because, for example, what is the meaning of the Spiritist Center? It's always good to come back to the roots and it's a reminder for us each time, along with the meaning of fraternity. So, yeah, I think it's a lecture that should be, be here from time to time for sure.
Okay. It's always important to remember why we're here, why we are hearing or reflecting about Jesus' words, and most important, what we're gonna do with all this, right? The invitation today is specific, what we're gonna do with all this. Try to do more exercises of loving one another. Try to do the best we can to follow the Jesus' invitation to live in the best way we can, making my next happy and being happy as well. Because being happy is not something that we should be afraid of. No, we have to be happy to have a happy world. If there is one person unhappy in a happy world, that's not going to be a perfect happy world. If there are 2, less. If the majority is not happy, then we have a trial and expiation world as we live in today. But we are reaching a new state for the planet, and this consciousness about doing each one its part of what's supposed to be done. We will reach for sure our regeneration world pretty soon. All right? Any other comments?
I think today was repeated so much about brothers and sisters, like everyone is each other brothers and sisters, and made me reflect because I'm missing so much my real brothers and sisters, my biological brothers and sisters. That's maybe something that I have to change because I love them more. It's not supposed to be like that.
And just because you live it with them
Invitation
more,
to find new brothers and sisters, maybe not biological, is there. And I have to look for them and love them also. I think that's what stayed to me today.
That's understandable, Priscilla, and it's very very common for course. You're here now 6, 7 months or 8 months. So that's a big challenge for everyone who immigrates. Like we always pass through a phase like, should I go back because I have so many people? There are some people who stay in this phase for the rest of their lives. But first of all, we don't born in a family by chance. Right? We can talk about this some other study, but we don't not born in a family by chance. There is usually a lot of work to be done. And as in families, we have the people who we get along better. There are also the ones that sometimes we don't get so well along. That's fine. But as we live together from previous experiences in other lives, in this life specifically, we spent a lot of time together. And we miss them, right? But as you said, sometimes it's a big invitation. Look, the world's broader, it's bigger. Let's, any other? Victor, okay? You like it?
Yeah.
Good. All right, my friend, can you release the sound? We will pray.
We have 2 victors today.
2 Victors.
That's
Are
why
you with C as well?
Victors.
Victor with C? Victor or Victor?
No, Victor.
Victor. Okay, so your two are different.
That's why you finish your last life with 3 victors.
With Victors. Vacilo. Okay, once again, would like to invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath and relax. And now that you are feeling fulfilled by light that surrounds you and all of us, raise your thoughts to Jesus, this brother who have been guiding the planet since its formation, came to us 2,000 years ago and gave the most beautiful and most eternal message to all the beings who have ever and will ever step on earth. And today, as brothers and sisters, we had the opportunity of reflecting his words about fraternity, inviting us to love one another. Thanks, dear brother. Thanks, dear sister, to be beside me in this journey of enlightenment. Eternal Father, we call you to enlighten our families, to enlighten all friends, all the people who surround us, colleagues. Enlighten as well, dear Father, this house, helping to spread the word, helping to spread light through this time, and then fostering the Christian love. that our hearts have been full of presence of Jesus. Dear Father, enlighten our week, enlighten this beautiful country in the day of tomorrow, day so special for all the 30 million people who live in here. May we all have a special Canada Day and connected to Jesus' teachings, love. Love lots one another as He loved all of us. So be it. Very well. I would like to invite you to concentrate, and we will do